Today's report, we have Yves Blanchet go absolutely nuclear on Mark Carney. He calls the G7 an absolute disaster, and we got nothing, absolutely nothing from that G7. And he says crisis. What crisis? Remember the elbows up? Biggest crisis in Canadian history? Well, that crisis is officially gone. And Mark Carney, he says he's the crisis man. He left his beautiful life in Europe to fly back to Canada and become our prime minister in order to solve this crisis. The crisis man. Well, now that there's no crisis, we don't need Mark Carney. What is he still doing here? Plus, EV mandates. Yeah, in 10 years in Canada, you'll no longer be able to buy a gas-powered vehicle. We're going to get into it. And who remembers the 1% tax cut? We just got a parliamentary budget officer report that was released today, and you're not going to believe the tax cut that Canadians are receiving after tax credit clawbacks. Plus, much, much more. If you're watching this video for the very first time or you're coming back and you are not subscribed, I make daily videos covering topics that the mainstream media will not show you. Let's get into the content. Let's go. I hope you're ready. Blanchet goes nuclear. Let's go.
And we are seeing that there has been no action on what seemed to be a crisis. Mr. Carney said this himself. No crisis, no Carney.
Is that true? That is true. Let's see. No crisis, no Carney. Who remembers this?
Which one? I heard of nothing. As far as I know, that you are a great crisis manager. Which one? I heard of nothing. As far as I know, Brexit happened, even if you were against it. You say you are a great negotiator. What have you negotiated but fiscal paradises in Bermudas or Cayman Islands? You have to prove something, and you have to reveal what you own in those companies if you want people to believe you.
Mark Carney's handled crises his entire life. That's why he's here.
Now, I, for better or worse, have managed crises almost all my professional life. I helped us manage through the 2008 financial crisis. I helped guide the UK through the Brexit turmoil. I think I know not just what it takes to survive a crisis, to get through a crisis, but what it takes to emerge stronger than before.
I mean, after the election, he could have done something else, but he didn't talk about the crisis anymore. And the only result we're seeing is Mr. Trump's team meeting with Carney's team to try and save face. We'll get together and talk again in 30 days. Mr. Carney.
So what he's saying is it was a complete failure. We got no deal. We're just going to meet up again in 30 days from now. Blanchet is on the money.
He made some extremely costly commitments. Legislation to protect the borders, which raises questions of ethics, I might.
It's not ethics. The border thing, it's basically you don't need any kind of, you get surveillance. That's what you get. They don't need to have approval to look into your phone or devices and start tracking you. Usually you need to get a search warrant. With their bill too, they could just look at any kind of electronics and monitor us all.
And he abandoned the counter tariff supposedly because he could reach an agreement with Mr. Trump before the G7. Before the G7. And what he actually secured, without going back on any of the concessions that he'd already made, was 30 days. You know, getting 30 days from Mr. Trump is easy. He probably would have made the offer himself. So I'm sorry to have to say this, but Mr. Carney got nothing.
What do you think, Canada? I think Blanchet is on the money. Carney got nothing. You know what he did get? He got embarrassed. That is what he got. He got 24 hours with Trump. Everybody flew in. We spent $200 million for the G7. What outcome do we get from that? For that type of money, what do we actually receive for that type of money? Nothing. TD Economics has provided this chart. Canada's domestic economy grinds to a halt in 2025. We went from 5%. Now we're below 0%. Final domestic demand includes spending by households, businesses, government, but it excludes trade and inventory. So the Canadian economy, and that's the craziest part, is the Canadian economy is in a recession without trade and inventory. That's without Donald Trump. So the Liberals and Mark Carney announced the summer's pass to visit all the parks and stuff. I'm going to make some comments after we watch a little bit of this.
This summer, your kids can explore Canada's national galleries and museums, like this one, and this, or this one, all summer long for free. With the Government of Canada's new Canada Strong Pass, your kids can see the most incredible places in our country at no cost this summer. And if you're traveling, the Canada Strong Pass lets kids ride free on Via Rail, and it gives a discount to young Canadians aged 18 to 24, whoever they're traveling with. The government is also making visiting national parks and historic sites free for everyone and lowering camping fees so you can stay and explore the outdoors.
How many of you out there are going to be able to take advantage of this? Most people I'm talking to work 40 hours, their main job, and they also work a second job. Many people in this country are working 3 jobs. Do you actually believe that anyone that's working in this economy is going to be able to benefit from any of this stuff? Try booking a campsite in BC. They're all booked. You can't even find a campsite, let alone go into any of these parks. This is not the way to make our economy strong, the Canada Strong Pass. So there was one clear winner out of the G7 out of everybody. Actually, there was 2. The UK actually got a deal. But the second winner, I would say the number 1 winner, was Ukraine. Ukraine came to the G7 and was given $2 billion in military assistance and $2.3 billion in cash. They say it's a loan. Call it whatever you want, but that money is not coming back. It's gone. They are the winner of the G7. The Conservatives push forward a motion to get rid of the EV ban. The Liberals want to ban all gas-powered vehicles within 10 years, and the Conservatives let's get rid of this thing. So they put it to a motion, and all of the Conservatives voted yes. But get this, NDP, Bloc, Liberals, everybody else, they voted, we want this vehicle mandate. That leads me into my following segments. This is absolutely absurd. Melissa Letzman put together a pretty good video on this insanity. The Liberals want us driving electric vehicles, and that is it. And 10 years is nothing.
The government wants to make these illegal. Well, not these, but they want to ban gas-powered cars. Not in 100 years, not someday, but in 2035, 10 years from now. This is a crazy proposal, but let's indulge for just one moment. What do we need to get this over the finish line? We need 700,000 new charging stations across the country. We've only built 60,000. And in 2024, we actually built fewer than the year before that. The electrical infrastructure to power all of these cars, to say that we're even close would be a joke. This would also be a massive increase to the total electricity consumed in this country. This is fantasy land. The rebate program, it ran out of money 2 months early, but the mandates, they're staying. It's like telling Canadians they have to eat steak every night and then cutting their grocery budget and calling it a climate plan. It's insane. Auto CEOs are sounding the alarm. Canadian economists say that you could lose 38,000 jobs in this sector. This isn't innovation. It's economic sabotage, and it's happening right here in this country.
Absolutely, and I don't personally own a vehicle. I've never owned one, but my service vehicle as minister is 100% electric vehicle. So I totally understand what some of the challenges are. I'm living it.
In places outside of downtown ridings of the environment minister and her trusty sidekick, the heritage minister, it's not just inconvenient, it's impossible. There's no chargers for hundreds of kilometers, -40 weather, long-haul drives just to get groceries, but Ottawa thinks they know better than you. Not everyone wants a Tesla. Electric vehicles might be a smart choice for some, but they shouldn't be forced on everyone, because this isn't policy, it's some crazy ideology. Canadians can't afford groceries or housing, and let alone a brand new Tesla with no rebate and nowhere to charge it. We know that these guys backtrack when things get unpopular. Remember how the carbon tax was going to save the world? Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to predict the future. Just like the carbon tax that made gas and groceries and everything you buy more expensive, they'll reverse themselves on this one too. But they will wait until the dealerships are out of business and the plants are shut down and make the change and convince you that it was a good idea that they couldn't communicate and it was your fault. Don't let them.
What's funny is before Melissa posted that video, I posted this: Liberal Strategy 101. Ban gas vehicles, strangle the economy, spark outrage. Months before the election, all of a sudden they promised to undo the ban. Voters go, yay, Liberals win. Ban comes back, repeat. They did it with the carbon taxes, raised it to the moon, and then they removed it. Oh, we'll remove the carbon tax. And all the voters said, yeah, thank you so much. We love that. Yeah, they play the same playbook over and over again. You know what's hilarious is Bloc Québécois voted in favor of keeping this ban. But if you took a look at truck sales, Quebecers love their gas-guzzling machines. Their truck sales have far exceeded passenger cars. What are they going to do? It looks like the government is all about the mandates, but the people, yeah, people don't want this mandate stuff. And you're going to get a kick out of this one. CTV is coming out with news saying that consumers are turning to podcasters like Joe Rogan and shows like mine in record numbers. I wonder why. If they could just a little bit put some honesty in their work and provide real news to people, we might be tuning in. But everybody is tuning out. We got a post here from Marty from the North on X. He says 7%, well, this is data that he's published. It shows 7% of Canada's population is non-permanent residents. That's 10% in BC. Imagine living in a province where 1 in 10 people have no roots and don't give a damn about the country's future. Well, then I posted, that's 2.9 million people that are non-permanent residents. That's more people than Manitoba and Saskatchewan combined. Think about that. We imported the population of 2 provinces with no long-term stake in this country. A new report came out today that Canada's population growth has stalled out in the first quarter of 2025. Canada didn't have a population growth at all. It was flat. But I've done some number crunching. Canada's population surged from 35.8 million to 41.6 million in 10 years. That's 1.6% per year, above the historical 1%. So if we actually stopped immigration altogether today, it would take 15 to 18 years to naturally return to the trend line. That is so far overshooted. The only way to fix this is deportation. We can't wait 15 to 18 years of no immigration. What do you think, guys? This is where we're at in this country. Oh yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm all for immigration, but I'm for immigration that makes sense. For example, traditionally we allowed 200 to 250,000 people per year, and we built about 200 to 250,000 units per year. That makes sense. We could house the people, we have jobs for the people, we bring in the brightest people, we actually screen them. But when you bring in 1.2 million people all the way to 1.8 million in a year, you're not screening anybody. You're not providing them with the benefits of becoming Canadian. It's just a disaster. We don't have enough of anything. Infrastructure can't handle it. Housing can't handle it. Almost every single problem that we currently have in this country is due to mass immigration. Let's not sugarcoat it. That's the problem. Ontario's in big trouble. We got more TD Economics report. The rest of Canada, so all of Canada from February to May of 2025, employment change gained 40,000 jobs. Think about that. That's not much. But Ontario lost 60,000 jobs. On top of this statistic, there is over 30,000 condos in the resale market. What do you think is going to happen to the condo market now that all these economic data is coming out? This is a perfect storm. Watch out below in the Toronto condo market. The Parliamentary Budget Officer came out with a report today on the 1% tax cut, and it's much worse than what they were selling us during the campaign. Let's take a look at some data. So first, the government announced that they're cutting this tax from 15% to 14%, effective on July 1st. Sounds great, right? Let's break down the facts and the data. We go down, and it's going to cost us $4.2 billion this year, $6.4 next year, and over the course of 5 years, it's $28.2 billion. Meanwhile, the government actually claws back $35.7 billion in tax credit value. Translation, they're giving you a penny while they're pocketing a dime. And it gets pretty insane here because the average saving in 2025 is $90 for like the average savings for a person. And the average savings over the course of the next couple of years is $190 to $200. That is $7 per month or 50 cents a day. This tax break is so pathetic because just in a couple of days, inflation gobbles up your 50 cents. It is a zero tax cut, guys. Zero tax. It's all optics. It's completely, it's all fake, okay? This thing is a joke. And they're claiming we're making life more affordable. Let's take a look at a couple more statistics. So if you're a senior, you're actually, and you're low income senior, you'll be saving $50 a year. That's 13 cents a day. What can you buy for 13 cents anymore? Or even 50 cents? I mean, $1 at least, coffee's at least $2. So here's the breakdown. A single parent will have $140 saving over the course of the entire year. A couple with a child, $250. High income couple with child, $750. And high income is like $350,000. The national average is $280. Think about this. There's 365 days in a year, $280 the national average. What are you going to do with your pocket change, Canada? I'll leave a link of the report if you want to look at it for yourself in the description. Do you want to know how Canada is doing? Something that should never be up to debate. Literally, this should not even be a headline. But in Canada, this is a real thing. Quebec is going to jail inmates based on how they were born biologically instead of gender identity. Is this for real? This is a top headline story. What are we doing in this country? It's unreal. We have much worse things to deal with. This shouldn't even be a thing. It's like, duh. And I have a question for you guys. How much money did the Liberals have to pay CTV for this headline? G7 summit, Trump got the spotlight, but Carney, he got the win. What win? What win did Carney get? I want to know. Was it the $4.3 billion to Ukraine to save democracy? What win did Canada get? I'd love to hear from you in the comment section. I want to know what win CTV is talking about. The Conservatives lost the motion in order to scrap the EV mandate. So in 10 years, Canadians are going to be huddled in their EVs at minus 40 Celsius, waiting 24 hours to charge their car. Check out California trying to charge their EVs, waiting 8 hours to charge. But the thing is, in California, The coldest nights are like 20 degrees Celsius. They're never below 40. They're fine. But in Canada, this could be a dangerous situation. While the politicians in Ottawa are sipping on their lattes, pretending like they're saving the planet. Imagine waiting 8 hours to charge your Tesla. This is the future of Canada, everybody. We cannot allow this mandate thing to continue. It's all nonsense. And here are all the lined up charging stations. What a disaster. The internet exploded, and it's because Mark Carney was seen wearing a McJesus shirt, and now the Oilers have officially lost the Stanley Cup, and they're blaming Mark Carney. Well, there's an account that I really like. It's on X. His name is The National Roast. He says, that one was a Photoshop. Here is the real one. What do you think about the whole thing, Canada? And you're not going to believe this headline. A report came out that Iran regime officials are seeking refuge in Canada. Like this is unreal. Here is Canada in 2035 when officially there will be no more gas-powered vehicles for sale. You can't buy one. So I bet you we're going to see every single driveway across Canada with a 40-year-old Civic with 6,000 kilometers on it, puffing black smoke like it was 1987. Look, Canada, we just saved the environment. Check out these vehicles. They're going to be rust buckets, black smoke everywhere, because I'm already saying it. I'm saying, who else in Canada is going to fix their gas-powered vehicles until they're 6 feet underground? You're looking at one. I'm not going to give up my gas car. I might buy an electric and have two. I'll have options. That's the whole point. I want to have options. I don't want somebody telling me what I can and cannot buy. If my electric vehicle doesn't work and I have to drive quickly in an emergency, then I have my gas-powered one. Choice should be Canadians' choice, whatever they want to buy. I know, don't get mad at me. I'm mad myself. Guess who has allowed for the construction of the Patello Bridge in BC in the Lower Mainland? We're replacing a bridge right now, and there's a delay. Why is there a delay? It's because there's a delay in Chinese steel. Yeah. And guess who's responsible for this contract? BC. So it's David Eby is buying Chinese steel. Elbows up, Canada. This guy's blocking pipelines and buying all the steel from China. Best scene in the House of Commons. And we need to see a lot more of this. And the thing is, this vehicle ban. Why are they banning gas-powered vehicles? We're going to find out right now. It's because someone is getting rich off of banning the gas-powered vehicles.
Position. You don't have to allow Canadians to buy one type of vehicle by banning their ability to buy the ones that they actually want. But, you know, this is raising a lot of questions. Canadians, auto workers, Ford, GM, they all don't want the EV mandate, but the Prime Minister is intent on pushing it through. Why? Well, right before becoming Prime Minister, he was chair of Brookfield, and he advocated for a ban on gas-powered cars. Brookfield is heavily invested in the EV supply chain, yet this Prime Minister refuses to reveal his financial interests or self-admitted conflicts. Isn't it true that this isn't about the environment, this is about the bottom line for Brookfield?
Yeah. That's exactly what's happening. So what he's done is he's positioned himself in the green tech to make millions. So if he controls where the money goes, yeah, it's all about money, Canada. It has nothing to do with the environment. We got some major breaking news from Table Salt on X, a new bombshell. He's obtained documents from Immigrations Canada, which shows that the IRCC employees are tasked with keeping over 25% of Canadian labor force filled with refugees and immigrants at all times. I don't know if you understand what that means, but 25% of Canadian labor force, it's a mandate? Let's check this out closer. And as you can see here in line number 3, the percentage of Canadian labor force that's made up of immigrants and refugees. And check out on the right side, the target is 25%. but the actual results is even more alarming. Nearly 30%, 28.9% of the labor force, Canada's labor force, is immigrants and refugees. Let that sink in. I have trouble understanding this information. I'm sure you are as well. But this is unacceptable because we have 7% unemployment rate. People can't find jobs. And then we find out 25% of our labor force is immigrants and refugees. Did you know that 1 in 5 students are unemployed? They're looking for work. They can't. So that's 20% of students that are looking. 50% of students are not even looking. That's of the 50%. 1 in 5 can't, they're unemployed. And just 19-year-olds all the way to 25-year-olds, it's 14.5% unemployment rate. Shouldn't these people get these jobs? That's an honest question. What is our government doing? I'm furious right now. This is the most mind-blasting part about the entire thing. This document we just saw is brand spanking new. It was just signed by the Minister of Immigration and Refugee Citizenship. You know, the woman that has no idea what she's doing? I showed her in a few previous videos. She doesn't even know the numbers of the people that are here. She has no idea what she's doing. She's reading off a piece of paper, just like the Minister of Public Safety. He doesn't even know about anything to do with his job. The guy doesn't know anything. It's just, who are these people? How are they responsible? And they're signing these documents. Canada, we should be concerned. I'm not going to put you through this whole thing, but I just want you to see like how incompetent this person is.
Speaker, the Liberals promised to cap foreign study permits, which also allow people to work in Canada. But new data shows that the Liberals blew their cap out of the water by handing out a whopping 500,000 foreign study permits last year, roughly the same population as all of Halifax. Why did the Liberals bring 500,000 foreign students to Canada during a massive housing shortage and while youth in Canada can't find jobs?
The Honourable Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for that question. Those figures are inaccurate. It's misinformation. This new government is hard at work to improve our immigration system, and the introduction of Bill C-2 Tuesday was an example of that. We are taking significant steps to preserve the integrity of our system while also upholding our humanitarian commitments, because we understand a well-managed immigration system is essential to a safer, stronger Canada.
Oh, geez. I'm sorry I had to put you through that, but I'm just showing you. And that's not even her worst part or scene. It's so bad. It's so bad, Canada. That was a lot. Today's been a lot. So I'm going to leave us with something very positive, something to look forward to. A Canadian hero. We are witnessing a Canadian hero. Let's see a Canadian hero in action.
There was some reporting that you were, I think, a number of months away, for example, from qualifying for your pension. You've been an MP for a long period of time representing your riding. Did the party offer to compensate you for what you're at a loss for, or is there anything that you're getting in return for this decision?
No, and actually, I didn't get into politics for my pension. I got into politics to serve the communities in which I grew up in, played sports in as a kid, and have continued to volunteer prior to running for office, volunteering as somebody passionate about politics. So this was a practical way that I could give back to the region that I love and care about so much, and look forward to being able to see Pierre be that passionate representative of this region in Parliament. And when it comes to the question about the pension, look, like I said, I didn't get into politics because of the pension. And when one talks about leadership, one has, those rare opportunities in life where you can put that talk of service into action. And that's simply what this was. And in the meantime, I look forward to being involved, both helping.
Unbelievable. This guy's a national hero, just stepping aside, and he doesn't care about his pension. You know, Jagmeet Singh, we all know that's all he cared about. It's refreshing to see the absolute opposite. This guy, he's moving on up in this world. I fully respect. If I see him, I'm buying him the multiple beers, Multiple beers for this young gentleman. That's it for today's show. Holy moly. These EV mandates are going to be a big problem for Canada. We need to get these liberals out before they completely destroy this country. I'll see you on the next report.